away because the season's running out today. As far as training, it was a first day back with the group. Tomorrow we start doing more tactical stuff. We always every training session, it's always about the principles and ideas of the game that we want to work on. There's always a theme behind it, so it's never out there that training for the purpose of training. So, but it's the first day back today, and today we wanted to work more with smaller numbers, the field condense a bit, tighter spaces, and then tomorrow we'll focus more on the tactical component with NYCFC coming up.
Understood. Thanks.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Alex Calabrese from Men in Red 97.
Hey, Coach. How's it going?
Good, Alex. How are you?
Good. Today calling in from the floor above you, so that's always fun.
I saw you at training. You could have asked me these questions there, man.
Yeah. We'll do that. We'll do that next time.
Okay.
Speaking of training out there today, we didn't see Xherdan Shaqiri out there. I'm wondering what your communication has been with him since the end of the European Championships, and if you're expecting him back in Chicago this season.
This season is a long time ago. This season, yes. No, I've been in communication with Shaq since when he left. Always, wishing the player the best of luck in every match with his for him, and obviously with Switzerland. Look, he just finished the major tournament, and it's normal that he's going to have a little bit of a break. That's normal with players. I think when you look at his team reaching the quarterfinals, and so it's normal. We haven't yet decided on the date that he will be back in Chicago, but it's very normal after a major tournament and being away early and with the travel and everything and international games, that he's going to have some time off, and we're still deciding when that return date will be. We'll keep you guys posted.
And as a follow-up, the transfer window opens next week. Would you expect that there's going to be some business early in this window?
For us, I think that's we're always looking for opportunities. If there's a chance to try to add a piece that can really help us now and in the future, Joe, that's not a secret, but it's difficult to do anything when there's no roster space. So I think I think that's the number one thing. I think our sporting director, technical director, they're always working extremely hard for options and opportunities, but it always has to make sense. So right now, I can't tell you a definite yes or a no.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Jim Alexander from Real Talker.
Hey, Coach, how are you doing?
Good. Jim, how are you?
Doing well. Coach, this week we learned the Olympic rosters. Obviously, I think you could say that the big snubs were Chris and probably Guti also. Did you talk to them about that? Because I'm sure personally they might have had high hopes for that, but also you get to keep them on a team. Tell me sort of your take on them not being included on the roster, but also getting to have them through the summer now.
No, obviously, I think both players, from my standpoint, I've seen two players that were in the picture with the national team from a year ago. I know that this was something that both players worked extremely hard to be ready for. First, obviously, their main thing was to improve and get better to help our team, because that really helps their case with the national team. I know that both players, in my opinion, both players deserve to be on that roster, and so I do feel for the players. It's a unique opportunity to be in the Olympics, to represent your country in a tournament like that, and I think it's not easy for the players. I know probably it was a difficult thing for them to go over. I talked to them and just tried to understand how they felt, because it wasn't easy. And like I said, from my standpoint, I think both players have done enough. These are two very young, extremely promising players for U.S. soccer. And I know it was not an easy decision on their part, also with the roster being to 18 and the 4 alternates, but I think for me, they deserve to be, on that main roster. That's my opinion. I felt for them. it's good to have them here, but I know that, that I don't feel happy that they were not included, because I know that it was something that they looked forward to, and they deserve to be there.
Well said. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Tim Hotsey for Men in Red 97.
Hi, Frank. How's it going?
Good, Tim. How are you?
Good. Good, thanks. So the team has 3 big games coming up before the Leagues Cup break. Just to press you on this a little bit, do you expect Shaqiri back for any of those 3? I realize not the one on Saturday, but the 2 next week.
No, the thing is, we talked about this, today. When would be the best time for him to come back, and how much time? I think it's proper to give him a little bit of a break. If you don't have him for this game, which obviously he's not going to be here for NYCFC, and then you have a midweek game Wednesday and Saturday, and then we have that break. So that's really the decision that we have to really think about and see, do we bring him before those games? How does, and I think that's the most important thing. For this one is off. It's just a matter of time of deciding in the next couple of days, when do we bring them back?
Thanks. And there's also been a number of other players that have been missing, especially on the back line, a lot of key starters out. Do you expect any of them back in the near future?
Well, Chris, Goodman for sure now. Toby for this game, he just started integrating with the team. He started doing some training sessions, which is a really good sign, but he's been out for quite a long time. So it's good to have him, but the reality for him to be available to play for this weekend will be extremely difficult. Johnny Dean was a late scratch, which is another tough one for us going into that game. He had an ankle injury that trained the day before, and then obviously had a bad reaction to the flight, and the swelled up, and he wasn't able to go. So that set us back a little bit. It's a question mark for him, Tim, to see how he is for this weekend. Carlos Terán, question mark, and then plus the fact that we're missing also, Fabi with yellow cards, which is a difficult one, especially, the way he got it in the 95th minute and now, and that really hurts. We're really thin, and but it is what it is, man. We just have to really, other guys have to step up, almost like Wyatt stepping up and performing well in these games, and no one's going to feel sorry for us. We just got to find ways. I know some guys are playing out of position, but there's nothing we can do. We just have to really be really focused, prepared, and with what we have, go out there and, like we've done in the past, and win games.
And just one more on that. So the team has used short-term agreements to pull guys up from Fire 2. Other than Omari Glasgow, not a lot. There hasn't been anyone that's really seen the pitch. Are more short-term call-ups the team's considering for these upcoming games if others can't come back in time?
No, I think that we need a depth. You don't want to go in with only 16 field players. So, you never know what happens in matches. We're playing with 3 in the back, and then you have Pineda. If something happens, then, we need to have these players there and be ready. I think games when our MLS next team plays, like even today, those are, really super important games for them to really perform really well and be ready, because we're thin right now, and we brought guys up, but the opportunity hasn't been there for us to use them. But, they need to always be ready. And, we try to watch those games as a staff, and, we have a really good relationship with our MLS next team. We always, bring certain guys to training throughout the week just to incorporate them into our first team. So the opportunity hasn't been there, but they're there just in case that, there is a need through some injuries in the game, because that we can't foresee that they need to be ready to step in.
All right. Thank you. Good luck on Saturday.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you. I don't see any more hands up. This is the last call for questions.
No more from Joe. That's it.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay, guys.
That's
Take
it.
care.
right ahead and get started. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. We really appreciate it. We'll start right away. We'll start with Alex Calabrese from Men in Red 97.
Hey, Chris. Good to speak to you. How's it going?
All right, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Okay, we'll get this one out of the way. The Olympic roster came out. Unfortunately, despite being involved throughout the cycle, you're not a part of that group. I just want to know what your emotions are right now after that decision that left you off the roster.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed in the decision and a little confused, frankly. I felt like I did enough to put myself in the best position to be included in that roster. But overall, I'm just pretty disappointed that I'm not able to help my country win a medal, you know?
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Joe Chats from On Tap Sportsnet.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
All right, how are you?
Doing all right, thanks. Just in terms of kind of moving on and working into the MLS season, it's going to be a tough 3 games after last weekend. What do you think this team needs to do to bounce back and kind of get in form, being so close to the playoff picture despite, 13th in the conference?
I think we got to sharpen up our ability to take control of games. I think looking back at the last game we played, that was definitely a game where we had, every right to grab the reins and make our mark on that game, put it away early, and we didn't do that, and we got punished. So I think when games are, like you said, going to be difficult ones, I think we have to make our chances count and hold it down as a unit altogether. But yeah, like you said, it's going to be tough playing away, home at NYC, away Cincy, away Miami is never easy, but just gotta grind out some results. So
Understood. Cheers.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Liz Jimenez from La Ley.
Hola, Chris. Can you hear me?
yeah.
Tell me how not to lose the focus on the regular season and try to win as much as you can to be in playoffs position. But of course, it's coming the League's Cup, so it's gonna be like 2 tournaments. Do you think that this team can compete in both tournaments? What do you think?
Yeah, you're saying in the regular season and League's Cup?
Correct.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, I mean, League's Cup is something that's coming up. We're all aware of it, but I think our focus right now is NYC Saturday, then midweek, and then the final game before League's Cup. So we're not too focused on League's Cup right now. But come time for League's Cup, I know all the guys will be locked in. Everybody gets pretty hyped up for League's Cup. So I know there's a lot on the line, and it's a fun tournament to play in, different opponents. So yeah, no, I think we can for sure get results in both.
Have you seen something about Toluca, one of the Mexican teams that you're gonna be on the League's Cup? Is there something that you can say about that team?
I'm not too familiar. I know as a U14 player in the academy, we went down to Mexico and I went to visit their stadium, but that's the only connection I really have to the team. I'm not too familiar with Liga MX. I don't watch it all that much, to be honest with you, but our guys in the front office will pull together some film for us to make it very clear what we need to do going up against Toluca. I know they have a big fan base. It's going to be a tough game, but I think we're here at home at SeaTeak, so home field advantage should help us. Fingers crossed.
Thank you, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Next, we will go to Jim Alexander from Real Talker.
Hey, Chris, how's it going?
Good.
So don't want to rehash it, but obviously feel for you and watching you up close and ask coach too. And he was genuinely disappointed. And he mentioned he had a conversation with you about not being selected. Do you feel that helped you having your coach kind of be genuinely disappointed for that and have your back and have that conversation? Did you take away something from having that that maybe lessened the blow in a sense, him talking to you?
Yeah, it felt like he kind of had my back and knew what it's like to be in this position. I don't know personally, but it felt good. And then my goalkeeper coach as well, being included in an Olympic cycle, being selected as that alternate role. He also gave me his 2 cents, and it helped that there are people here who have been in similar positions and could give their 2 cents, and it means a lot to me. But just disappointed overall. I mean, it's hard to hear other people and what they want to tell you about certain situations when your overall feeling is disappointment and confusion.
Understandable. Well, hopefully you can use that energy to bring it to the club and the Leagues Cup now. So thanks, Chris.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Tim Hotsey from Men in Red 97.
Hi, Chris. How are you? So one of the issues that the team has had is just the number of injuries, especially to that back line. You know, the most recent game we heard from Frank, who mentioned, you know, how late, you know, like Dean wasn't available to go kind of late in the process. Does that make it more challenging for you, just like with different guys out, and learn like communication with the back line, getting coordination to happen the way that you expect?
No, I'd say at this point in the season, I'm pretty familiar with everybody and how they play and what they expect from me and what I expect from them. Obviously, it throws you for a bit of a loop if last minute you're hearing that guys aren't ready to go. But ultimately, what they do give us is our roles, and we should and are able to plug in different players to different roles. So, for example, if our set piece guy gives, you know, Johnny Dean a specific role, but last minute he's not ready to go, we have to put Mueller in that role. It's on me, it's on the back line, and it's on Mueller to know exactly what to do. I think we handle that pretty well from a set piece standpoint, but not just set pieces in general. It does throw you for a little bit of a loop, but as a professional, you kind of just gotta know what to do. So yeah, it's not ideal.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you. Joe, I see that your hand is up. Do you have another question?
Of course, always got to bother Chris for one more, if you don't mind. Chris, just with NYCFC on Saturday, looking at them, they're a team that can score goals. They've done relatively well recently. How important is it to get results against particularly conference opponents when you're at home? I know I kind of asked you that at the first point, but just specifically NYCFC when they have Martinez and Rodriguez.
It'll be difficult for us as a back line, but also our front line. I know defensively they've been pretty good. I know Matt Freese has been on a bit of a run for himself, so he's doing well. But yeah, no, I mean, I think it'll be a good game to set if we really put aside the past results and carried on and move forward as a team, or what that vibe might look like. But I think the product on the field on Saturday will definitely show that. And yeah, like I said, defensively we have to be sound, because I know they have quite a bit of threats who like to play tight spaces, make runs, all that stuff. So that's something we're preparing for throughout this week. But it would be huge because obviously we're in the fight for that playoff spot, and I know they've been doing well for themselves, so they're looking to keep heading in that direction. So it'll be a good fight.
Motivated to go against a hot keeper on the other side.
Yeah, West Coast gang.
Glad to hear it.
Okay. Thank you, Chris, so much for joining us. That was it for today. Thank you, everyone who joined the call and asked questions. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, C.